Afternoon, it's Representative Mike Tobash, the 125th District, and I'm here at the 97th Annual Farm Show in Harrisburg, and I'm fortunate enough to be able to spend some time this afternoon with Boots Baron Hetherington of the Ringtown Valley, and he is the special advisor to the governor in the Agriculture Department, and it's a great day here at the Farm Show. Boots, how's everything going?
That's off to a great start, Representative Tobash. We had record parking over the weekend. Obviously, weather is always a big factor on Farm Show, and it's been very nice out. Great crowds. The folks in the food court are happy, the vendors. So, by the way, congratulations on your accomplishment the other night. You were the winner of the team driving event. You knocked out a few legislators on the trail, so congratulations on that. Now you have the you have the team driving, you have the showmanship. Now you have to do the milking contest. So we'll see if we get you next year for that. So the farm show itself is actually mainly our state fair for Pennsylvania. Part of my job with the governor is to be administrator for the 108 fairs across Pennsylvania, which includes our Schuylkill County Fair and also the Gratz Fair, which a lot of our folks in our area attend. We have contests, baking contests, and competition at those fairs, which are carried over to the farm show. It's the largest indoor exposition center in the world, okay?
It's an amazing farm show, and it's a great week here. And as I mentioned, it's the 97th, and as you mentioned, it's one of the #1 shows in the United States, and it's great. I know that we passed some legislation earlier in last session that made Pennsylvania preferred the trademark for products throughout the Commonwealth, and I see that that's being highlighted here at the farm show. Can you tell a little bit more about that, please?
Yes, sir. That's our farm show theme. Made in Pennsylvania makes a difference. And I grew up as a produce grower my whole life, and we've gone from Pennsylvania Proven to Pennsylvania Proud. It's so delicious. We've had a whole bunch of branding. The problem is when you have administrations change, you change secretaries or governors, you go with branding change, you confuse consumers. And this is a branding program that you gentlemen passed into law, the governor signed, so it'll be our official brand, no matter who's governor, no matter who's secretary. And it's not just our produce, it's also our wood products, our mushrooms, our eggs, Christmas trees. Anything made in Pennsylvania has the Made in Pennsylvania brand. And we did some study work with St. Joe's University down in Philadelphia and found that when polled, 93% of Pennsylvanians said we will purchase a Pennsylvania product if we know it's a Pennsylvania-produced, Pennsylvania-made and grown product.
I think it's important, and I think that consumers absolutely want to consume Pennsylvania products. They know it's safe. They know that it's locally grown. It helps our local economy. I just think it's good news all around the board, and I'm happy that it's resonated with people and it's taken off to the extent that it did. Now, we talked earlier in the week, and you told me before that you have 108 fairs, but you've only been to 107. I don't know what you've been doing. You missed one. Can you tell me a little bit about that and your responsibilities?
Yeah, the fair is an interesting summer for me. It starts in the early June and goes right through October. And it's, like I say, they're not all county fairs. In some cases, we have multiple fairs in the county, but there are 108 that take place, and they're agricultural fairs. What makes an agricultural fair different than a block party or a bazaar is the agricultural displays, the livestock, the fruits, nuts, vegetables, the flowers, the needlework, beekeeping, winemaking. We have 24 different possible departments that we have for agricultural competition. And to be a fair, you have to have at least 12 departments of competition, at least 5 entries. And in that case there, you gentlemen in the legislature and ladies have helped us out. We provide some support money for those contests. And you say to yourself, well, geez, Boots, why are we using taxpayer money to support fairs? Well, it tells our story about agriculture in Pennsylvania. It's a great opportunity for us. We have 6 million visitors come to our fairs. It's a great way to tell our story of ag. And as you know, I mean, as far as Pennsylvania's economic engine, 1 out of 7 Pennsylvanians involved in food production. Not just farmers, but people that work in the bakeries, making pretzels, making Mrs. T's pierogies, all that kind of low cuts turkeys. 1 out of 7 Pennsylvanians is in food production. That's our biggest economic driver in the state.
I know, and I realize it is our biggest economic engine. It's our #1 industry, agriculture, and I'm happy to be a part of it. And I'm happy that you're a part of our local fairs. You know, we've got the Schuylkill County Fair, we got the Gratz Fair and the Berks Fair, the Reading Fair, as you've mentioned. We love to participate and be a part of all of those. So I appreciate your good work. I appreciate all your help and all the work that you do here this week.
Thank you, sir, and we appreciate your support in the Ag Committee. I know that's something you. Right off the bat, you got yourself in the Ag Committee. You've been supporting agriculture in the county ever since. We appreciate that.
I'm lucky enough to be here with our Secretary of Agriculture, Secretary George Gregg. It's been a great week at the farm show so far. Weather's holding out. What's your perspective on this year's show?
Well, it looks like we're going to break all records as far as attendance, so that's great. And I want to thank you for helping to draw people in. I mean, you've done very well in some of the celebrity contests that we've had. So.
Yeah, I've been fortunate. As a matter of fact, you and I have found ourselves in a competitive situation on a number of occasions now, and I think the score right now is 1-1. You won the showmanship contest at the Berks Fair. And I was lucky enough to just edge you out a little bit in the celebrity horse draft horse competition. So it was a lot of fun, and we've become friends through these competitions, and I appreciate that relationship. I hesitate to say when I'm among people involved in agriculture that anyone is more hardworking than anyone else. But I got to tell you, when I turn on PCN and when I'm around this farm show, you are everywhere. I'm not sure that you're just one person. I would venture to say you're the hardest working guy at this show. Tell me about some of the things you've been doing.
Well, this is just a fantastic showcase for agriculture, and I'm very proud to serve as Secretary of Agriculture. It's just 1 million square feet in this facility, the largest agricultural exposition hall in the United States, and it's right here in Pennsylvania. We'll have 400,000 to 500,000 people come through here, at the farm show. And we not only use it for that, it's used for several different shows, many different shows throughout the year. But yes, I'll probably collapse after farm show's over. It's been running. I think we've had, I don't know how many events today, but it's been quite a few events. So.
Well, you seem to be everywhere. I have to tell you, from the legislative perspective, there's a lot of things that we have done in favor of the agricultural industry, and particularly the family farm. I think in the last session, one of the things that we worked on, and I'm happy that we were able to pass, was eliminating the inheritance tax. So when one farm family tries to pass it on to the next generation, they don't have the impediment of paying that oppressive tax. And I know that farm families, it's important to them. What's your perspective on our legislative session?
Well, that was huge for Pennsylvania farmers. The inheritance tax and all the other bills that you have passed, but the inheritance tax, being a farmer myself, I've known young farmers who have inherited farms who've had to sell off part or all of their farm just to pay the inheritance tax. So elimination of that tax is big news for farmers. The ag transportation bills that you passed allow us to move forward. I mean, modern agricultural equipment is a lot bigger than it used to be, and these ag transportation bills have brought us into to this century with the ability to move our equipment legally now, and we appreciate all that you and the legislature have done to support agriculture.
Yeah, there's no question about it. I mean, one of the exhibits at this year's farm show is today's agriculture, and agriculture has changed over the years, over the decades, and we have to make sure that that current law is keeping up with those changes in the industry, and I think that set of transportation bills, like you mentioned, is very important. The other thing that's very important is Pennsylvania Preferred. I mean, we are showcasing it this year at the farm show. It's a piece of legislation that I was happy to be a part of. In the passing of that legislation. It's kind of resonated with people a little bit more than I expected. I'm very happy to see it. You want to talk a little bit about Pennsylvania Preferred?
I sure can. That's the theme of this 97th Pennsylvania Farm Show is made in PA. It makes a difference, and that's the byline for PA Preferred. Making PA Preferred the permanent branding program for Pennsylvania products has helped our fruit and our fruit and vegetable industries, our honey industry, maple syrup. It helps so many different agricultural industries in Pennsylvania, helps them to sell their products locally. And when we sell our products locally, we eliminate the cost of transportation, the cost of the environment by transporting these products all the way across the country. And when we buy local, we keep that money in local communities and support the local farmers.
Yeah, no doubt about it. You know, like I mentioned before, you've got such a major role in this, and one of the cornerstones of the event is the butter sculpture, and this year it's the Pennsylvania Preferred. I'm going to make sure we get some video footage after we're finished with the interview, but there's a rumor out here that you did the butter sculpture yourself. Is that true?
No, I'm not talented at all in that respect. But Jim Victor, he's been doing our butter sculpture since the beginning, and he did a fantastic job again this year, and it's just 1,000 pounds of butter. And after we're done with it here at the farm show, it will be gathered up and it will be melted down into a methane digester and turned into electric on a Lancaster farm. So
there you go, very good. Well, I have to tell you, I always look forward to the unveiling of it. It's the kickoff of the farm show, so to speak. And this year, I'm always surprised and amazed at what they can do. But this year, with the Pennsylvania Preferred logo, it's just fitting for this year's show. So I appreciate all the work you do for the Commonwealth. I know that you're involved at a lot of different levels. You're a local township supervisor. You operate your own farming entity. And again, that's why I can say that you're certainly one of the hardest working people in agriculture and working in agriculture and for agriculture. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for all that you do.
I'm lucky enough to be having a conversation with Amy Bradford of Penn AG. Penn AG is the Association for Pennsylvania Agriculture Industry. Is that right? And can you tell me a little bit more about Penn AG, Amy?
Sure. Well, what Penn AG is we're a membership organization that represents the support and service sectors of agriculture, so the agribusiness, all those companies and all that infrastructure that allows a crop producer to plant and grow his crop and harvest his crop, and a livestock producer and poultry producer the ability to raise those animals and feed those animals so that they can then become our food.
Great. So you're the support of the producers, of the production side of it, and you've got a large association, and I see that you're having an exhibit here this week, Today's Agriculture. Can you tell me a little bit more about the exhibit?
Sure. Well, we're really excited to bring the Today's Agriculture exhibit back to the farm show for our second year. Last year was the first year that we had the barn and the crops and equipment exhibit. So we're here again this year. We've got some new aspects of the exhibit here to just further allow us the opportunity to educate the public about where their food comes from and to be able to open the doors to our farms and to our barns and show people what it looks like inside a livestock and poultry facility.
Okay, it's terrific. I mean, I see that you've got some prime real estate right here at this year's farm show, a big area. Can you tell me a little bit more about your perspective of this year's farm show?
This year's farm show is going great, and we really appreciate the Department of Agriculture and the Farm Show Complex for allowing us to come back in and have this space. As you said, it's prime real estate. We are in a great portion of the Weiss Exposition Hall, and we're right here with the ability to have people walk through the crops and exhibit, see what the agronomic side looks like, and then move into the barn and be able to see the animals that tie in with where the feed is going from crops to animals.
It is a great exhibit. Look, the crowds look terrific here this year, and I was talking to someone a little bit earlier that the weather can be a factor in it. Wow, we've had terrific weather for the farm show, and I think usually we see some inclement weather, but this year's there's nothing on the radar, so I think we're in great shape. What about the crowds?
The crowds have been wonderful, and you're exactly right. Weather is a huge factor. In addition to this exhibit, Penn Ag Industries also has a large food booth in the food commodity court, and we always wish and hope for good weather, because if it's good weather, then people are going to come out to the farm show. They want to take advantage of the educational aspects and see the exhibits on display, and they want to take advantage of the great food that's served here by all the commodity groups. So we're really excited. We had a great weekend. We're having a great week, and just can't wait for that to continue on then into Saturday.
When I said you had prime real estate, you're exactly right. You're right next to the food court here, and that is really prime real estate here at the farm show. But I thank you so much for your role in Pennsylvania's #1 industry. We're happy to support the good work that you're doing. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for your support. We appreciate it as well.
I'm here with one of my constituents, Donna Worley, who's involved with the Dairy Princesses in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. You're from Tilden Township, Berks County. You live in a beautiful area, and I understand that you've been in the dairy business for a very long time.
Yes, our farm is right off of 61 in Hamburg near Cabela's, and we've been farming there ever since 1970. Well, my husband's been farming on that farm for years, but we got married in 77, been on that farm ever since.
Terrific. So tell me about your involvement with the Dairy Princesses. It's a big part of the farm show.
Yes, it is. I have been coming to the farm show as a kid, as a consumer, I should say, more or less, as a child, because I did not grow up on a dairy farm. We had horses. I married a dairy farmer, and now we show animals. My daughter and son-in-law and my grandkids are showing here, and my own children have showed here for many years, dairy cattle, and I have been coming here as a coordinator for the Dairy Princess program since 1998.
I really appreciate the commitment that youth have in the farm show and in dairy and in field crop, but particularly in dairy. I mean, there's an awful lot of work that has to go into that process, and I think people oftentimes open up their refrigerator in the morning, they pour themselves a glass of milk, and they don't realize all the hard work that goes behind that glass of milk in the morning. I was fortunate enough last year to be able to do a showmanship contest. It was a lot of fun for me, and I got to tell you, a lot more goes into it than I expected. Can you tell me a little bit more about showing animals?
Yes, I am also a 4-H leader in Berks County. So I work with my 4-H kids and, like I said before, my own children and my grandkids. And when you show a 4-H dairy animal, they work with these animals from the day they're born, leading them, grooming them, really getting them tame. Because if you're going to show them as they get older, you don't wait till they're real big to start working with them. You want them to be your pet. And they are their pets, really. They love these animals. And I will say our 4-H animals, they're special to us. I mean, all our cows are, but I do give a little extra love to animals that have been trained, and it's nice when you can go up to one and just pet them and they want to be petted. But it is a lot of work, too. They have to work with them, get them tame, halter break them, clip them, groom them, and when they come here, it looks like fun, but there's work before the fun.
Well, there's no doubt about it. I know there's a lot of work. Look, my success in those showmanship events were all a result of the young ladies who grew those animals. So I really appreciate all the work they do, and I thank you for the work that you do for the agriculture industry and this segment. Anything else you'd like to say about this year's show?
I think we have a very outstanding show here. Our dairy show is going to be tomorrow, and I know animal numbers are up from what I'm hearing. And I think if you haven't been here yet, come on out and visit the farm show. It's a wonderful place to learn about all kinds of agriculture, not just dairy.
There's no doubt about it. Thank you very much, Mrs. Worley. Enjoy the rest of the week. I got here this afternoon, and I was fortunate enough to be able to have lunch here, but I didn't have a place to sit. And there were a few open seats, and they were the prettiest girls in the farm show. They're this year's Dairy Princesses, so I got to join them for lunch. And now I'm fortunate enough to have a chance to talk to them a little bit about this year's event. So I know that we've got Heather here, and we've got Callie, and we've got Maria, okay? And it's lucky for me to be here with you guys. What do you think about this year's show?
I think this year's show has been going great. I know we've all had a lot of fun getting to represent the dairy industry and just talking to so many consumers. So.
And at the lunch we had, you girls were up on stage and you were giving the milk toast today. Can you tell me a little bit about the milk toast, Callie?
Absolutely. We, at a lot of events we go to, like to do milk toast as a tribute to the group that we are with. Today was especially exciting with the Pennsylvania Preferred program. It's a program that we really believe in as people who grow food in Pennsylvania and think that its future is very important to our Commonwealth.
Yeah, it really is. We talk about agriculture being the number one industry in the Commonwealth, and the dairy sector is the number one segment of that industry. Tell me, how long have you been involved in dairy, Heather?
Actually, I live on a dairy farm with my parents, so we've been milking our entire life. My dairy farm, I'm the 5th generation, and it's been in our family for 99 years. So we've been involved in it for as long as we can remember.
Longer than the 97th annual Pennsylvania Farm Show. You guys have been in the dairy business for 99 years. That's a great testament to the industry, and I appreciate you. I appreciate your hard work and your representation of something that's very important to our citizens of the Commonwealth. So thanks so much. Just one more thing. How do you guys feel about this year's event? I'm sure that you've been to many more. What do you think about the crowds this year and the excitement? What do you think?
I think it's amazing. There's so much to do, and there's so many people that you can reach out to throughout the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania just here at the farm show.
Absolutely, and as they said today at our banquet, they are up in crowds. Last year was a record-setting year, and this year they actually improved upon that record. So we're just glad to be here, have the opportunity to reach out to consumers across the state.
I agree. It's going absolutely wonderful. We're so happy to just be able to talk to and reach out to as many consumers as possible, and I feel it's been going great and can't wait for the rest of it to continue. So
The industry is very lucky to have beautiful young representatives like the three of you. Thank you very much for your work. I'm fortunate enough to be with our representative in Congress, Glenn Thompson. And more importantly, as it relates to the farm show, he's our only representative right now from the state of Pennsylvania on the Ag Committee. I've been fortunate enough to hear Congressman Thompson on a number of occasions talk about the importance of agriculture in the state of Pennsylvania. And I'd like to talk to you a little bit more about that today, Congressman.
Well, Representative, it's great to be with you here. 2013 Farm Show, record crowds. You know, this is an important event. One of the biggest problems I believe we have in the country is people are too many generations removed from the farm. They really don't have a good feel for where they're, an understanding of how much hard work it takes to provide food for this great nation. And the farm show is a great way to reconnect people. And so I'm just very pleased with the record crowd here.
So am I. You know, I think the farm show is often somewhat contingent upon the weather. We don't always have great weather here in the middle of January, but this week the weather's holding out just fine. And it is well attended, and it is a great place to showcase Pennsylvania's #1 industry. I know we've got a lot of issues at the federal level, and I know you're integral in those issues in that debate right now, so I appreciate your hard work. Is there anything right now that you think is very important for the agriculture industry here in the Commonwealth?
Well, absolutely. You know, we just achieved a one-year extension of the Farm Bill, which was good, because otherwise we would have reverted back to the permanent law in 1949, which would have made $8, $9 a gallon milk, and it would just crush our agriculture industry. And so we need to do a reauthorization of a farm bill. We're working on that. I'm expecting that in the House that we'll have something out of committee by April. I know the chairman wants to go before the Senate does this time, and I think that's good advice. I love it. I like his direction. And the Farm Bill is important because the Farm Bill is about making sure that America always has the most affordable, the highest quality, and the safest food supply of anywhere in the world. And that doesn't happen by accident. It happens as a result of farmers and farm families who are up early every day on the job, and they stay on that job not on a given schedule, but until the work's done. And that's to provide us our food and our fiber and our building material and even our energy today that we need to have. It also happens by folks just like you and I, who really care about Pennsylvania's #1 industry, agriculture, and the fact that we're dedicated to that, make sure we have good state and federal policy that supports our farmers and our farm families and our rural communities.
There's no question about, it's enjoyable to represent a hardworking group like the one that you've characterized here. I mean, America's agriculture industry is among the hardest working group of Americans in the country. And, I'm happy to be here today. It's elected officials today, and happy to be in your company because it is a melding of the federal, the state, and the local legislature, people that represent all those constituencies. I mean, they're the people that work very hard to ensure that we've got great products here in the Commonwealth. So we appreciate very much your help and the good work that you do for us in Washington.
It's my pleasure, my honor. My #1 pick when I went to Washington was to serve on the Agriculture Committee. I tell people that was a no-brainer. I like to eat. But the fact is, I'm very appreciative of all the hard work that our farmers put in to make sure that we have what this great country needs.
Well, it was my #1 pick too, so I'm happy that we're serving on that committee at the federal and the state level. Thank you very much. I'm fortunate enough to be with Carl Schaefer, who's the president of Pennsylvania Farm Bureau, which represents the production side of agriculture. That's the farmer. I think that's the person that we most appreciate in this equation. Carl, it's nice to see you. How's the farm show going this week?
Representative, it's just going great. I've been down several days. We're having record crowds, and people are really, really enthusiastic about coming to see what's all available at the farm show.
I know that Farm Bureau has a major role in Pennsylvania agriculture, and I know that you're well represented here. Can you tell me a little bit more about your involvement this week at the show?
In the show, we're involved in many different ways. We have a booth down here where we can explain to people coming through what membership is all about of Pennsylvania Farm Bureau. We're down here representing our members, helping them in any way we can with doing memberships and sponsorships of today's agriculture, which is a award-winning display at the farm show.
You know, we've got legislation in this past session, Pennsylvania Preferred, and I know that it resonates well with our consumers, and I hope that the farm community is appreciating the fact that Pennsylvanians are now focusing on buying local products. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Pennsylvania Preferred is what we sorely needed for a long time. It's a local trademark that really identifies where the product's coming from, and I think people, our consumers, have a deep appreciation from locally grown produce.
Yeah, we hear the message about our locally grown products being, first of all, terrific as far as quality goes, but also a safe food source. And we talked about that a little bit earlier. I think it is a matter of security that we've got a product that is grown right here in our backyard and being consumed here.
It's all very, very much so, and it's been grown by people who are reinvesting right in the local economy, too. Any money, revenue we bring in is reinvested right back in Pennsylvania. It's not shipped out of the state, out of the country, anything's being reinvested right here.
So now this is our 97th annual farm show, and you've been around agriculture all your life. What's your perspective on this year's program?
I think this is one of the best. Really offers the consumer a real insight as to what it takes and what's all involved in raising their food.
Great. Thank you very much, Carl. I appreciate your role in Pennsylvania's #1 industry. That's agriculture. I appreciate the support that you give our local farmers.
My pleasure. Thanks a lot, Mike.